In this video, we're going to be talking about the second phase of playmaking, which is the making stage or the playing stage. Now, this stage has three different sections to it. The first section is all about improv, the second section is all about script writing and editing, and then the third section is all about structuring your scenes. So let's go right into improv. Now, improv can be very scary for some people and very opening and thrilling for other people. But the first rule and the only rule of improv is don't block. Some people say always say yes. I don't believe in always say yes. I believe in don't block. Don't block basically means don't say no without offering another option. Always have many options. Always open the story, never close it. So there's lots of different ways that you can kick off of improv. And the first thing that you should do is open up your bodies, open up your voice, do a proper full warm-up, and then go back to your characterization work. Ask yourself, who are the people that live in the world? What is the world? And what are all these central conflicts? That's going to be what really drives your improv work and gives it specificity and clarity. When you're improvising everything, it's important to record everything. Either record it via voice recording or via video recording so that you always have that information for when you're transcribing later on and for you to refer back to if you ever need to know, what was I doing in that moment? What did I look like? Where were we walking? What was the whole point of this thing? Always record and save everything. It's very important. When you're working in a group, it's always important to discuss beforehand what the different scenarios are that you need to put your characters into so that you can get to the heart of the story. You're going to work with the pirate map that you created, and you're going to figure out what it is that you need to do as characters and as theatre makers to build towards your central action and to build away from it. There are lots of different games that you can play to come up with these scenarios and to throw your characters into the action. One of my favorite games to play is the dice game. It's very simple. All you do is you have two separate dice. One of them has the characters' names on it, and the other one has a scenario or a verb, an action for them to do. Very easy. You roll the first dice and you figure out who is going to be in the scene. So you'll roll it twice to come up with two different characters, and then you'll roll the second dice to come up with what it is that these characters are going to be doing in a scene. And then as a group, you can decide what it is that they're going to be arguing about, joking about, playing about, whatever those verbs are that you choose to put in. Another game that's very good for opening up, in particular opening up characters, is the hot seat game. Now this game is very simple. All you do is one person sits in the hot seat, kind of like I'm doing right now, and they answer questions posed to them by the audience. Now, sometimes this can unlock for you pieces of information about the character that you might decide to put into the play. Sometimes it can unlock for you different pieces of information about the world of the play, about the timeline of the play, about basically anything that this character has been involved in. They could answer the questions too. And I think that the hot seat game is very important at any point in the process, so that you're making sure that you as an actor fully understand your character, fully live in your character, and can answer questions as them. Another very simple game that you could play is really, really easy. It's called Yes and. It's a storytelling game and a story making game that can help you come up with what the scenes are that your characters exist in. So you would have two characters sitting across from each other, building a story together. So I would say, yesterday we went to the shop, and then Declan would say,
we bought some yogurt.
Yes, and we bought honey.
And we ate it.
And then we got sick.
And then we went to the hospital.
And then we saw the doctor.
And then he gave us more yogurt.
So you get the idea. You get the idea. This is the way that you could build a scene together so that you have the starting blocks of what it is that the scene could be about that you can then improv together, or something completely different. A game that I love, love, love to play with people, especially when we're starting off creating work, is called Speaker's Corner. Now, Speaker's Corner is a specific place in London where people can literally stand and just say whatever they want to say. And my game version of this is built on that. Basically, you get up in character and you can say to the audience whatever it is that you want. This is a great way to build monologues. This is a great way to figure out what's at the heart of the story for your character. This is a great way to get a feeling of what it is that each of the different characters like and find interesting. Important to the rules of Speaker's Corner are no one in the audience is allowed to clap back, no one is allowed to interrupt them while they're speaking. But if you, as somebody in the audience, want to take over and talk about something completely different, you clap your hands, and the person who is speaking has to stop, sit down, and then you take their place. And you can start off with anything. It's a great way to figure out how different characters can be linked to each other. Because, for example, one character could start talking about their food and what they had for breakfast, and that could make another character think about their morning and who they saw, and that could make another person think about a friend of theirs who they miss, and so on and so on. It's a great way to find different links between people, and it's also just a fun game to start you off. Another easy game is Park Bench. Now, Park Bench is exactly what it says it is. It's two characters, sometimes more, who happen upon each other at a park bench. Sometimes these people might know each other, and you as a group can decide whether these people know each other beforehand or whether they're complete strangers. And then the people who are improvising get to decide how it is that they explore their relationship, how it is that they explore the topics of conversation that are important to them, and so on and so forth. Now, once you've done a few improv games to get you loosened up, some of these things might be really important to generating content for your specific play, but you might feel like there are a few holes in the play in terms of the story. And this is where you just throw people together in a scene. It's really, really not a lot more complicated than that. You figure out what it is the scene needs to happen. So, for example, you could say, Mary and Michael have to have an argument because Michael is breaking up with Mary, for example. So you throw these two characters into the scene and see what happens. And I generally would let a scene play out for around 5 minutes. Sometimes if they feel like they've got more going, then you can, but don't tend to go more than 5 minutes per improv because it gets really tiring as an actor, and you just want to be able to make sure that you're in a good state of working and that you're constantly feeling light enough and energetic enough to keep working during the day. But make sure that if you are feeling a little bit low or if you are feeling a little bit tired, that you tap yourself out, and you tap yourself out of the improv specifically so that you can take a little bit of a break.